Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z. Pothead Picker on X or Twitter. Flips and Giggles is the eBay store. It's also the Whatnot username. And you can find me on Facebook with Flips and Giggles. If you like the podcast and you're a fan of the show, make sure you subscribe and go ahead and hit the notifications so you know when an episode comes out. We're not the most consistent with our episode times, so I say we, I mean me. One-man show here. So I'm not very consistent with my times. It's just kind of, I try for Wednesdays now just because that's what I have time. But it's been a little busy on Wednesdays, but that should be better now. So I'm hoping to get them in when I can. The last time I was late was because I was sick. I literally couldn't talk. So I think last week's came out on Wednesday as well, but I don't remember because my wife works every Wednesday. It's just easier to do the podcast when she's at work. So I'll be like, yeah, don't come down here while I'm doing the podcast. Like, I don't care if she comes down here, but she always is like weird about it. So she'll be like, I'll hear the door first. And then I'll be like, okay, she's coming down. And instead of just coming right down and like walking through, she like creeps down like to just fucking walk in and walk through. It's not like nobody could see you. It's not like it's a secret that you exist. Just come in and walk right through. So a lot of times it's easier to just do it when she's not here. I'm not going to lie. We have another Whatnot show tonight. If you're listening to this today on Wednesday, what's the date today? Wednesday the 29th, couple days before Halloween. Ooh. It's kind of sucks because so the first like couple weeks of October, we were supposed to like hang out with, do like a party the first weekend for our neighbor's kid or something like that. So that got canceled. That was a bummer. And then like the following week, we still had the fucking, what's it called? Hand, foot, and mouth. So we got like kind of a late start on Halloween. And then the first weekend we were able to do stuff. We went to like a bunch of festivals, whatever. We took the kids to whatever we could do. We did a couple of trunk or treating things, which are always fun. But then like last weekend I was like, because my wife was working and I'm like trying to find stuff to do, and literally every activity is just like trunk or treating. I'm like, I don't need to go get more fucking candy. We already went through all of their candy, like not all of it, but we put a big dent in their candy, and it was mostly us because we give them like a piece a day, if that, of like that. Then I eat the rest because I'm a fat fuck. But anyway, it's Halloween's coming up in like 2 days. It was originally supposed to rain. It looked like it was supposed to rain on in the morning now, I think, and then it's supposed to be done. But yeah, people are like posting on like local Facebook groups. Again, I fucking hate that I have to use Facebook and but honestly, like the yard sales now are getting like few and far between on there. So like it's gonna get to the point where it's just not even worth it for it to have it at all. And so hold on, I'm trying. All right, there we go. And so people are like, oh, is trick or treating get postponed if it rains? It's like that's never been a thing ever. Like, and who are you even asking that to? Do you think there's like some grand czar of Halloween and trick or treating who's like, you know what? I mean, I guess sometimes the town is like, we're not doing trick or treating this year. I've heard of towns doing that. They're like, yo, you can't trick or treat. But I mean, you can't really stop people from putting candy out and shit. Like if you have a neighborhood that kids are gonna go trick or treating in, and you're like, do not fucking put out candy. What are you gonna send fucking cops door to door? Like they're too busy with fucking illegal immigrants. There's no fucking task force for illegal candy doling out or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I remember a couple years ago when they were trying to tell everybody that the candy was like, they were like, yeah, the candy, it's in short supply. Like it was like during the when they were trying to get people to buy as much shit as they could, when they're like, yeah, the supply chain's all fucked up, so you should just buy shit now. And like, I don't remember, like, I mean, I remember a couple things being interrupted. Like, I remember when we first moved, it was a fucking pain in the ass. But then, like, towards the end, there was just like people milking that shit. And they were like, yeah, like they posted on the news, not posted on the news. I'm fucking thinking about the internet here. They did a story on the news or something. I remember seeing it like at my mom's house. And they're like, yeah, the candy this year, because of the supply chain, is like you're not going to be able to get candy, like, so stock up now. And I remember going to the store, like I wasn't going there for candy, but just I was in there, and this was in like August, and there's just fucking so much candy everywhere, and I'm like, dude, are people really that stupid? They're gonna just believe this and buy a bunch of fucking candy? So I don't think I haven't seen that be a story since. That was the one time I've ever seen them be like, yo, there's going to be a candy shortage. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but that was like a couple years ago. They were like, there's going to be a candy shortage with the fucking candy. It was when they were saying everything was going to be like short and everything was going to be out. And candy was one of the things that they were like, yeah, you're not going to be able to get this candy. Meanwhile, at the fucking store, there's just like 2 aisles of it right now. Still 2 days before Halloween, they're still like fucking filled. It's chock full of stuff. And then as soon as Halloween's done, they'll pull that shit out and they'll be like, here's all the Christmas shit. So, which I kind of like. I like getting an early jump on Christmas. And I like Halloween shit too. Like I was getting into Halloween stuff early, but we didn't get to do as much stuff as we wanted to because of fucking stupid hand, foot, and mouth, which I still have like bubbles and shit, like where the bumps were. There's like these little like skin bubbles, and like of course I'm picking them because I can't help myself. So yeah, it's not fucking fun right now. It's not like really bothering me. It's not like it's a pain in the ass. It's just it is kind of bothering me in some spots. But it's yeah, it's kind of a weird fucking thing that's just, even my kids are like having it, so it's just like not going away. But yeah, anyway, so we have a show tonight on Whatnot, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's like 5:30 on the West Coast. I'm not going to do the whole calculations for you. Vintage T-shirts this week. There's a couple modern ones thrown in there, but that's mostly like Y2K and earlier. So these are like, there's some new ones that I got just for the Whatnot. And then there's some that are just like, overstock that we've had in our eBay store for a while. So making the trip over to Whatnot to try to clear out some of that inventory. And then I have a ton of new stuff that we've got coming in. So I just took a bunch of pictures yesterday, so I'm going to be trying to get like a bunch of listings a day. So we can get some new stuff into the eBay store as well. But yeah, check out the Whatnot stream today if you're hanging out. We did one last week. So we did a Whatnot one on Thursday. So we did a Thursday night plush sale, and it actually didn't go as well as I thought it would. Like, we've done plush in the past, and we had a lot more people, and things were getting bid up a little bit. And this one, it was like things weren't really selling for a ton. We made like $120 maybe after like all the promos and shit. I ended up having to promote stuff because we weren't having anybody, and nobody was buying shit. So, and it was all stuff that's like, I know is good stuff, like that sells. It's stuff that people have been asking for on the streams. It was just a very weird show. And so we did that show. And then the next day I had, I bought a bunch of golf shirts. And so we did a Whatnot stream with golf shirts. And that one went better than I thought, but like still not very good. I thought it was going to be like we weren't going to sell anything. We sold like 20 something things, but not for very much each. And then somebody reached out to me and they said that like I sold the wrong size. They were like, "Oh, I checked the video and you said it was a 3XL and it's not a 3XL." So I watched the video back and I said that, but you can't really see what it says on the tags. I try to show the tags. I need to be better about showing the tags. But I reached out to the person. I was like, yeah, if you want to just like request a refund on that item, I think it was like a $2 or $3 item. I'll be happy to refund it. But I haven't heard anything back, so I don't know. Whatnot's follower thing is weird. Like we had like 3 something followers this morning, and I went and there was this person doing it was like a seller help following stream or like a seller help stream, and she had some sponsored giveaways, and there's like almost like 200 people in there. So I bought the sponsored giveaway, but I bought it. It was like the last one, so like there was other people that had bought them in order. So mine was like the very last one. And they do, so when you do a sponsored giveaway, like a lot of times people will just give you a shout out and they'll be like, oh, follow this person. But this person did she went into like my profile and was like reading my bio and like, she's like, oh, this is what, she does like almost like a critique kind of like, be like, put more of this in. And so she didn't really have too many critiques for ours because I try to I think I looked up how to do like a good Whatnot profile, you know what I mean? So I put like all the shit that we sell, my socials and shit like that. So, but I got like 20 something followers from that. And then I went to look on Whatnot on the app, and then they're like not there. Like we still have the same amount of followers that we had this morning. Then I'm like, wait, did I have that many followers, or is this like, did they get added after the fact? So it's really annoying, and I don't know, because it's like I can see the followers are there, but I'm like, am I losing followers while I'm gaining followers? Are people just following and then unfollowing immediately? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, there we go. Okay, it just uploaded. I knew I wasn't tripping. I'm like, I know I'm fucking tripping. Like, there was like, so right now, so we're at like 351 followers right now. So we're getting there. I mean, we're still like, we're still freaking grinding, man. It's, I mean, it's not like eBay, where eBay is just like, you post it and you just kind of wait for shit to sell. But yeah, we've got 25 bookmarks on the sale for tonight. That's the most we've ever had. So that was all from that sponsor. I think there was like 5, and then I did that sponsored giveaway, and we got like a bunch on the next 2 sales. So I'm hoping that'll translate into buyers, and then, I'm hoping that we can get some new followers too in there. I'm hoping that somebody raids us at some point. We got 1 raid, but it was like 5 people, you know what I mean? So I need to, I'm going to tell people at the end of this one that like, yo, we're staying home. We're staying home. We're going to raid somebody after we're done. So I need to be better about like telling people like, yo, we're going to do this shit afterwards. But yeah, 25 bookmarks for today's show. I'm excited. I'm hoping that, I'm hoping it does well. And then we have like 2 shows, another show coming up the next week. And then I got to figure out what the next show is going to be. I want to do like a garage sale style show where we do like, just everything. But I don't know. I don't have enough time to do that. I have some coins that I came across. I forgot. I bought them at a estate sale like fucking years ago. And I don't know shit about coins. They're like foreign coins or whatever. So I'm like, I called this guy that I know to see if he would help me. Just like I texted him a picture just to be like, are these worth, even selling for $1 a piece, or should I like lot them up? And then he wanted to call me, and I just haven't had a chance to talk to him. So I got to call him after this and see what the fuck he was trying to tell me. But so I don't know. I'm trying to see if those are like worth just doing like, $1 each to start them out. But, yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. So yeah, Whatnot's been going well. I mean, still not making a ton of money. It is what it is. It's enough to where it's like, I could see it's like kind of worth it. As long as we're doing stuff like this, like the t-shirts should be fine. We should do fine on those. Some of them are ones that have just been sitting forever. And it's crazy because some of those ones that'll be sitting forever, I'll show them on Whatnot and then they just sell faster. You know what I mean? And for decent money. So, Yeah, we've got a couple of t-shirts that like I didn't intend to put on Whatnot, but like, you know, they're like right on the cusp of being like, you know, decent t-shirt value wise. But they're all cool shirts, you know what I mean? So I try to put like what people are asking for, and so we'll see. We got some fucking cool shit. I got a Jay and Silent Bob one that I wish was my size, but it's not my size. It's a large. I could probably get down to a large, but even this large, it's like I don't know if I could fit into. I fitted a large at like before I had my kids. I got down like to like 190, I think was the lowest. Now I'm at like 210, I think. So obviously like 20-pound difference. Yeah, after I had my kids, I was like, because I was doing like meal preps. I would bring, and this is when I was working too. So it was harder once I stopped working because I would do meal preps and I would just bring food into work. And at work, you're not like, you know, you're like, whatever, I can just fucking, I just need something to eat to get me through the day. So I would just make these fucking, one of the meals we would make was like honey sriracha meatballs, turkey balls. So I'd make those with like black rice and broccoli, and I would just fucking eat that and like shit like that all the time. And yeah, now it's like there's no way to do that. You know what I mean? I would have to make like I could meal prep, but the kids aren't gonna eat that shit, so I still would have to be making them food. And then there's days where I'm just like, fuck, what am I gonna make? And then you get behind on the meal prep, and it's just like, yeah, it's a whole. So, and when I was like 190, I was pretty skinny. Like you know, for like a 190, 210 is like, when I found out I was 210, I was fucking pumped because I've always just kind of rested at like 220. And I'm like, dude, 210 for like not really doing like, you know, I work out every day and go for walks, but like, I'm not like, you know, dieting or anything like that. So I was like, to think that like just getting down like 10 pounds by just like the natural shit that I'm doing, I'm like, if I just could get a little bit better. So it's getting towards that time of year when I start to be like, you know, think about like New Year's resolutions. I'm like, all right, you start to like fall, you know, like I've been doing Zins again, fucking. So like it's like, all right, well, here comes the new year. It's almost fucking New Year. Once the yard sale season ends, you got to start thinking about how you can fucking improve yourself for the next year. So that's another reason, like, fuck, yard sale season's coming to a close. I got to start doing some introspection. Oh, man, I got to start doing some fucking reflections, some fucking vision boards. Yeah, I just finished my speech class. That just reminded me when I said because she's like, yeah, you shouldn't be saying which I didn't really like during my speeches. I didn't say this one's different because, you know, I'm fucking, I write down a couple of ideas, but I don't usually look at what I've even written down until halfway through the podcast. Once I'm getting ready to wrap it up, I just make sure I talked about all the shit I wanted to talk about. But yeah, so that's like another. So Wednesdays were fucking crazy for a bit too because I was having like speeches due. So I would have like the classwork assignments for that class would be due on Monday, and then we would have to do like a practice speech and then another speech that was due Wednesday. I'm like, dude, that is like, and it was a half class, you know what I mean? So it's not a full semester. I still get full credit for it, but it's a condensed, like shortened version of the class. And like I just started my new class for that slot. So that class ended and this one started. And I'm still doing my marketing class the entire time. And so this new one just started and it's English composition. And it's like fucking it's 10 times easier already. Like I started it yesterday. We got the assignment like 3 days ago. And so like everything's due on, I think, Sunday. And so I started it yesterday and I'm already like, I've got like one more section. It's straightforward to the point. The last class I had was like all of your information was in 20 different places. I finished the class. I ended up getting a B in the class and I finished and I'm like, I thought the class was going a few more days. I like went to turn in all my shit and I'm like, oh, everybody like turned in their assignments a few days ago. And so I've realized like, oh, this fucking class ended, but like the dates are all wrong in the class. So it's like this class ends May 14th, we're nowhere near May. So I was just ignoring the dates. I was like, oh, it just ends the same time as the other ones. And apparently that wasn't the case. But like the last week of the classes was like, we had like 2 days to do stuff. So like I didn't even check, you know what I mean? It was kind of annoying that like, so I ended up missing some assignments. Like I missed a bunch in the last week. So I did them and submitted them, and I hit up the professor. I'm still waiting for her to get back to me, but I was like, hey, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, you didn't put any of this information. Because some people, like, don't check that shit until, like, later. And so it's, obviously it's on you to know when the class ends. And I'm not expecting her to fix anything, you know what I mean? But if she does, it might bump me up to a B+, A-, maybe. But we'll see. I don't know if she'll even give me credit for them. So if not, it's whatever. I got the B. I don't even need, you know what I mean? Like I passed. And that was going to be the hardest class, I think, of the classes that I'm doing. Because like I said, the English composition one is fucking pretty easy. The marketing class is pretty easy, although it's getting a little bit more tough just because I knew a lot of the early stuff. Now I've got to kind of pay attention and actually read more stuff because I don't know the newer stuff. But that speech class, man, I'm just so fucking glad that we don't have another speech. My last one didn't go as good as the one prior. But yeah, one person did their speech. I couldn't believe that they did. Like, I mean, I can believe it because it's, college and shit. But like, yeah, one person did, and their name was definitely not their name. Like, you can tell that their name was like, their parents probably gave them a good fucking name. You know what I mean? And then they like, because they're like a fucking teenager, they were probably like, oh, I'm going to rebel against my parents and call myself whatever the fuck they called themselves. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to fucking blow up their spot. But like you could tell this is like, oh, this isn't this person's birth name. And you could, they didn't say their pronouns, but you could tell like that they like, probably went by they, them, even though they were clearly female. And so anyway, so their presentation was trying to convince people, because we had to do like a persuasive speech where we like persuaded people to, see our point on something. And theirs was that we should still be wearing masks in public, which is fucking crazy. Like, and they provided no evidence. Like even the professor was like, at the end, they were like, yeah, you didn't really provide any evidence or sources. You just kind of gave opinions on this. And she was like, yeah. So it didn't really make sense that she, it didn't really make sense that she, well, I mean, it was, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. Like, that's so crazy that in 2025 you're still like, hey, you should be out in public wearing a mask. It's like, what the fuck? No, we didn't do this before. Like, why the fuck are we going to do? And they were like, yeah, COVID's still a thing. And all the sources that they were citing, I'm like, none of those sources, because they did cite a couple sources, but it's like none of those sources are ones that anybody should trust anymore. None of them. So I thought that was interesting. But I'm just glad to be done with that class. It was a lot with the Wednesday speeches. You know what I mean? Because we had our assignments due, and then on top of that, she was like, yeah, you have to do these things in addition to having to write a speech. It was just crazy. And in the composite, like the English class that I'm taking now, which is about writing, we're doing discussions and shit. And it's like, on the last one, we had to do like 300 words for a discussion post. This one, it's like 200 words, and like your responses need to be like nowhere near what they were before. So I'm like, if the writing class is like more realistic about this shit than you are, like, what the fuck are we doing? But I still passed that shit. I could have done even better, but I got a bunch of fucking shit missing because I apparently didn't know when the class ended. There wasn't a lot of instruction in this class. Like the class I'm in now, it's just like, this is how you do this. This is this. This is this, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind having to figure shit out for myself, but when it's in a million fucking places, you got to kind of be a little bit more like, hey, here's this information. Anyway, I'm done talking about school. I'm glad that that's going to be a little bit easier for the rest of the semester. I just, I can't wait to be done with school. I keep saying it every week, but I don't know what the fuck, why the fuck I decided to go back to school. I don't have a plan to do anything. The guy, my academic advisor, I had to do a meeting with him this last week because we had to register for classes coming up. And he's like, what the fuck did he say? He's like, oh, do you plan on, continuing for an associate's degree? It's like, no, probably not. No, I didn't even say that. I said, I haven't decided, but I have. I don't think I'm going to. And I might have to go in for a class. I was trying to sign up for a class for this semester, and they didn't have any online only. So I'm really hoping that I don't have to go into school to finish any of these classes because I just don't have time for that shit. I just really do not. Yeah, there's like no yard sales this weekend. It's finally like last weekend there was like a couple, mostly resellers, but this weekend it's like I haven't found a single one. Not really found. There's one decent estate sale that's going to be coming up. That I think that's Friday, so I might go to that one. I don't know. We'll see. There's my in-laws might be coming in Friday because it's my daughter's birthday party this weekend. So she was supposed to be an October baby, and then she like came late. She does things on her own time, this little fuck. And so she's we got her birthday this weekend. I think she's actually falling asleep. That's fucking crazy. So yeah, my in-laws might be coming Friday, but I haven't seen any sales. Like I've been looking for sales Friday and Saturday. Usually on the off season, there's more Friday sales because people have like estate sales, but there's none thus far. And I don't want to buy a storage unit until after this party, so I've kind of got my eye on a couple storage units for next week. But I think we're gonna have to buy a storage unit to find some more stuff for these whatnots because I don't really have stuff to sell in bulk right now. I've been going through a lot of it. I could do like small toys and clean off my shelf. The video game one that we're doing, we've got a ton. I've got like 3 different collections just in the last couple months. So a lot of that stuff, some of it will go on eBay, but most of it will be for that sale. So I'm excited about that. And this last weekend, yard sales were not great. Not great. I went to one. It was like starting at 8 a.m. And it was I got there and there was like not great. They didn't really have a ton of stuff out. And then there was one sale that I was like really hopeful for. But the guy, you could kind of tell he was a reseller, kind of couldn't. He didn't really know how to use Facebook very well. So I got to the sale. There wasn't a lot of people there because he didn't advertise it very well. And he had some stuff that was like his prices on some stuff were like fine. And then on other stuff, it was like he was way off. And so I did end up getting a few things from him. But he had this Mad Balls like Rude Ralph, which is like, it was still in the package and stuff. So I was hoping that was going to be one of the things that he was like, wasn't high on, but he wanted like almost $200 for that. And on eBay, it was going like anywhere from like $235 up to like $350. I think I saw one sell for $350. So I have his number. He texted me. He's like, oh, I found more toys to pull out because, we just put that one back. I wasn't going to buy it, but I bought a couple other things from him. And so I was thinking about offering him $100 for it. But I don't know. I don't know if he would take it. He might take it. He seemed like he was trying to clean out, but I got to get back in touch with him. I was supposed to hit him up this past couple days, but I ended up, my wife was at home, so I thought I would have time to go see this guy, and then I just I got too busy. I was trying to get caught up. I have, it always happens to, like, I go to do shit, and I've got like so much shit left to do from the week prior. Like I go to take pictures. I had a pile of clothes. I went through most of them yesterday, but I had a pile of clothes that I needed to go through from like just weeks ago. That's why it's like with Whatnot now. I'm sorry to keep fucking talking about Whatnot. I'm talking about Whatnot like the way that like resellers who were getting paid to talk about Whatnot when it first came out are talking about it. Like, but I'm not getting paid to talk about it. But no, I do like it for that because it's like I get so much stuff that I'm like I can just like kind of unburden myself with some of this stuff, at least, and get rid of it. And a lot of times it's just easier to not have to take a million pictures of everything. Fucking sucks having to sit there and take measurements and pictures and fuck. But we'll see. So we never came to a deal, but I got a couple other things from that guy. I got like a cool plush ET. Like there was a few of them listed. I couldn't find any with the tag. So I don't know how much that's going to improve the value of that thing, but you never know. Some people are weird with stuff like that, so it could improve it a bit. And yeah, I'm trying to think of what I was just going to say. I don't remember. I've got some time now because my fucking kid is like sleeping, so I wasn't expecting that today. I'm going to get in trouble because she's going to fall asleep. Oh yeah, so the one that I went to a sale on Sunday because that was pretty much the only sale where I got stuff. I got a couple things from something else, but nothing crazy. And so then I went to a sale on Sunday because this guy told me, he was like, hey, these people they do clean outs. They've got a bunch of stuff. Their prices were pretty reasonable and they were flexible on stuff. So I'm like, all right. So I go there and I bring my kids because it's Sunday. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just bring them. They're only going to like one sale. So we get there and they wanted to get out of the car. And of course it's freezing. And I'm like, it's cold. And like, so we brought their jackets. But of course they were like still cold. So I'm like, because they didn't want to put gloves on. So I'm like, all right, well, keep your hands in your pocket. So then they're, complaining. They're saying they want to buy this. They want to buy that, It's typical kid shit. They're fucking 5 and 2, but 2 about to be 3. And so I'm trying to like keep my cool, keep them from touching shit. And like I'm noticing the prices are like a little bit fucking ridiculous. Like he had some Jordan like autos, which should go for a good amount of money, but he didn't have any COAs. And like they're both the different autos look different. Then he had like a $300 Lego set that like you could have got for like $200 on eBay. So he had that marked at $300. And then he but on some of the stuff he was like, just make a pile. So I was asking him about the comics and he's like, yeah, just make a pile and we'll, figure it out after. So I'm like, okay, thinking like, so I make a fucking pile of comics. I make a pile. I find some video game stuff, nothing like remotely crazy. It was like, I could tell you what it was because it was like, it was a PlayStation 2, which was broken. All of them were broken, by the way. They had 3 Wiis, white Wiis, and a black Wii, all of which were broken, every single one of them, and then a bunch of games that were like not in great shape. So he gives me the total for the comic books. He's like, yeah, I would do like $150 for these comic books. I'm like, what? So I put those back, and then I go, okay, and how about the video games? And he goes, I would do like $400. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna put this stuff back. And he goes, oh, why? What were you thinking? I'm like, I'm nowhere near that. I'm like under 100 for this stuff. And that was like being fair. Like that was a Wii and a Nintendo Wii, 4 parts goes for like $10 to $15, if that. You know what I mean? And like every single one of those Wiis was broken. Not like, oh, it might not work. It was like, even if it does work, it's still broken and it will have to be sold 4 parts or repair. Otherwise, it will be not as described if you sell it working. Because, anytime somebody has to do work on something, They're like, they consider that it's broken. So all of them are broken. And he's trying to sell those. Remember, it was 4 Nintendo Wiis. The colors don't even fucking matter at this point because they're Nintendo Wiis. So there's 4 Nintendo Wiis and a PlayStation 2, all of which were broken. And they were trying to sell that and like maybe 20 games for $400. I was like, if you're going to have somebody make a pile, you know what I mean? When people come to my sales and they're like, they're like, I'm like, yo, make a pile. You know what I mean? I'm not saying make a pile because I think I'm going to like charge you a fucking shitload. I'm saying that because it's going to be cheap as fuck. So that's what I assume when you tell me to make a pile. And this guy, for all of it, he wanted $550. $550. I might have made $400 total on everything. Like, he had a couple slabbed comic books. None of them were keys. None of them were high grade. Like, one was a 9.6, but it wasn't a key issue. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? So I put everything back. I was like, I didn't even put it back neatly. Normally I'd put it back neatly, but I was like, this guy just wasted my fucking time. And I have my kids running around. So I'm trying to like keep them, wrangle them. It's like, you see me over here struggling with these kids and you're going to fucking tell me to make a pile and then charge like quadruple the price on eBay. Like, where the fuck, where are these resellers coming from? Like, I don't understand it. Where they think that they're going to make that money, like broken consoles. And this fucking idiot was trying to sell them for $400. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And so I was talking shit the whole time I was walking out. That's why I do kind of like having my kids there, because they're like, why didn't you buy anything? I'm just like, because their prices were too high. I was like, I wanted to buy stuff. I had to put it all back. You saw me put it all back. And just saying this shit to my kids as I'm walking out at full volume. like, hey, they asked me. It wasn't like I just, offered that information to them. They fucking were asking me what the deal was. Why didn't you buy anything here, Daddy? These fucking people are asking too much money because they're retarded. Sorry, child. So yeah, that was fucking annoying. It seems like there's like crafts fairs every fucking week. I don't know if that's everybody's town. Is that everybody's town? It's like every time I turn around, there's a craft fair. And then there's going to be like a holiday craft fair because it's going to be Christmas soon. Why aren't we doing like indoor yard sales? Why aren't these craft fair people just doing indoor yard sale signups? How many crafts do you need? And dude, like, I'm not knocking it because I know my wife makes like crochet shit, and there's definitely a market for cool crochet shit. If she had more time and shit, she would definitely be able to do. I remember she banged out like some like cool like owl hat or something like that in the height of her when she was doing it. She doesn't do it all the time now, so it would probably take her longer. Plus, she has to take more breaks with these fucking kids. But it only took her like 20 minutes to make like this little hat with like owl ears and all that shit. It's like you can do like a bunch of those, bang out a few of those in an hour, and sell them for X amount of dollars. So I understand like there's definitely a market for crafty type shit, but like at the local level, it's just crazy to me how I understand that the people are going because they're doing them all the time. But like the amount of people that are going to these craft fairs, if I go to a yard sale and I pull up and it's all crafts, I'm pissed. I'm like, this isn't a yard sale. This is a craft sale. But there are people that do just look for crafts. I understand that. I understand that there's like, a niche for that. But like buying pre-made craft items, I don't get it. It's not for me. It's not something I enjoy doing. It just kind of blows my mind that there's like every fucking week there's a craft sale. Like we can't find a yard sale anymore, but there's a craft sale every fucking week. I assume it's the same inventory from the first week. But I don't know why I'm hating on craft sales right now. There's just something about I've gone to a couple like yard sales. When you show up, you pull up to the yard sale, you're like, oh, fuck yeah. As soon as you see the crafts, you're like, oh, God damn it. Because they'll throw a couple of their things so they can justify calling it a yard sale. So you can't be like 100% mad. But I don't think I've ever found anything cool at a yard sale with craft before. I can't say that I have. I'd have to think on that one, but I don't think I've ever gone to a yard sale with fucking, homemade whirligigs and walked out with a fucking treasure. Yeah. Let me see what else I have to talk about. I got ahead of myself here. I thought I was doing so well. And then I've talked before about my little honey hole. It's this little church, not even a church thrift. It's like a little thrift store. And in the past I used to find really good shit there. Wasn't all the time, but like once a week, and then I helped them. I think I've talked about this before, but like I helped them move some shit when I got my trailer, which right now that trailer's collecting dust. I need to put that thing to work. But anyway, I helped them like move a bunch of shit to donate from their store when they closed for the summer. And then they reopened in the fall. And I had talked about this before, but I talked to the daughter when I was helping them. And it seemed like she was kind of, figuring out that people were donating like good shit. And I went back in there this week because I hadn't been in. I just had a chance to go by. And again, the whole store is like empty. It's like, fucking barren. There's like barely anything in any section. It's like gone from a honey hole to a sad glory hole. It's just kind of, it's weird. It's weird that, because I thought it was a nonprofit, and it's like if it's a nonprofit, you would think that they wouldn't be able to sell shit, but like it's also on consignment, so I don't know how any of that works. But it's got to be hurting the business. Every time I go in there, there's less and less shit, and I don't think it's because they're selling it. And the prices on the stuff that they have, like there was a few things that I was like, oh, if this was like an actual thrift store price like it used to be here, I would buy it. And then they end up doing like $1 day where everything is $1, and they like most of the store ends up going for fucking pennies on the dollar. So I just am gonna try to remember when that is and hope that I can capitalize on that. I've gone through it a couple times. I used to go to it all the time, but then it's like it's just been fucking all the crap nobody wants. It's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. But I mean, I wasn't a big thrift store person anyway, and I wasn't really hurt. Again, I'm not like hurting for inventory. After like the next few weeks, I might be. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause we're moving through stuff faster than we were at this time last year. Last year we didn't have whatnot. So I'm hoping. I mean, we could take a couple weeks off whatnot if we don't have anything lined up. I'm trying to have shows lined up so we can be, people can bookmark them like and get everything going like that. But so I don't know what's going to happen once I get through a lot of this stuff. Again, I'm going to try to do some storage units. So I'm hoping that we can get some storage units. I'm trying to like put that in my wife's ear. Like, hey, you should come with me to a storage unit thing. Because I don't know. I feel like when I'm buying them without her, it's, I feel like like if she buys it with me and we come back and it's a bust, then I can be like, oh, well, we picked this one together. If I pick it and it's a bust, it's like, oh, fuck, you picked a shitty one. Fucking dumbass. And she would never say any of that stuff. She wouldn't even give a fuck. She trusts me to make the right decision, but it just feels like if she was with me making that decision on the one that we were going to get, it would make me feel better. But definitely gonna do some storage units in the next couple weeks. Gonna try to. I'm hoping it's easier this time around this year, because last time it was like, last time, oh fuck, what was I gonna say? It was easier this time. Fuck it. Well, I was hoping what was easier this time around. I don't even fucking remember. I don't remember. I'm hoping to get more shit is what I was trying to say. Oh, storage units. Yeah, I'm hoping it's easier. So I'm hoping more people are like realizing it's not just fucking completely easy to resell stuff. Because there's a lot of people buying storage units and just like, I'd run into a bunch of people that are like, yeah, I'm buying, like at yard sales, they're like, I'm buying storage units, and then and it's all crap that they have there. And I'm like, how are you picking these storage units? And like, why are you still doing it? There's one guy in town, and I'm assuming he's just using the same pictures, but he does a sale every week, and he's like, new stuff from the storage unit. And every time I've gone to one of his sales, I've left not buying anything, because it's always usually overpriced, and it's always like a lot of the same shit. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that there's less competition this year. I know it's probably not going to be the case. But like, yeah, it's always nice to get a storage unit for like under $50. It's been a few years since I've been able to do that. And yeah, who knows? I'm hoping to get a good storage unit this year. I'm going to try to fucking talk my wife into it. And then I try to get t-shirts made for the podcast. But I've got to change the podcast logo, which is kind of a fucking bummer. But I should have like known. I submitted it to like this, I think it was Custom Ink or something like that. I submitted to them to do the t-shirt, and they were like, yeah, it got canceled automatically. And it was because there's like a Stormtrooper helmet and like a Captain America helmet. And I didn't even think about that. Like, I just was like, oh, it's just like a generic whatever. And so, yeah, so they wouldn't do it, even though I'm not selling them, which is fucking stupid. So I had to reach out to the person who originally did the design, and they're going to fix it for me. All that's going to change is like the Stormtrooper helmet and the Captain America shield are going to become like, I said, just make like a Godzilla looking monster and like a robot or something. You know what I mean? Just like some sci-fi shit. So yeah, I had to change that, and I'm hoping that's not why my stickers are taking so long. Because my sticker one got approved. I reached out to be like, why is this taking so long? And they're like, whatever. They couldn't really tell me why. So I'm hoping that those are hurry up. I need to find a new sticker place, because I want to order more stickers, but like it's taken this long just for this one order. Like I was like, oh, I'll get a small order, see if I like them, and then I'll get more. But it's like it's taken so long that I'm just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I reached out and they said that they were working on it. So I'm hoping that they're, they'll get it started soon, because those stickers, I want to start doing like giveaways. Got the 100th episode coming. I mean, I know it's not as soon as I thought, like a couple weeks ago, but it is coming up. So I'm going to try to do some podcast appearances. So if you know any other podcasts that are looking for like guest appearances, I know we don't do guests on this show. But like if somebody is looking for a podcast guest that can talk for an hour, just fucking vouch for me. Don't lie, you fucks. Yeah, and tell him I don't say as much as I do. Just be like, yeah, he won't say when he's replying to. It's just when he's thinking. Just when I'm thinking, that's when I do it. There was something I used to say when I first started doing the podcast a bunch, and I can't remember what it was, but I think I've gotten better about it. I feel like I've gotten better about the ums too. It's only when I'm like, doing whatever. So I posted a BMX bike, and every time I post stuff on Facebook, certain stuff. There's certain stuff that I just am already prepared for, pushback. Like I put a BMX bike up one time for $1,000, and people were like, "What the fuck? What are you fucking stupid? Take this down. You're a fucking idiot." It sold for 500. So it's like, all right, you know, I'm clearly in the right area of amount for this. So I put a BMX bike. I could only see one selling for like $400 or $500. It's from like early 2000s, this bike. So I'm like, all right, I'll do 400 just to be on the safe side. And I posted it. And like within a few minutes, somebody posts on there, "Wow, you sure you want to keep this up there?" Da, 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 da. And then somebody else posts like doing some silly shit. So at that point, I'm like, I'm just going to turn the comments off, because I was thinking about responding, and like there was the only ways I wanted to respond. Like the one guy that posted, he looked like every bike he's ever owned was stolen. Like he looked like he had never owned a bike that was actually his. Like he just looked like he was the kid that just stole fucking bikes in the neighborhood. And then he had a picture of him and his girlfriend, and his girlfriend looked like she was his grandma. Like she looked like she was 20 years older than him, and she was gross. So these people are like, they pop up, and it's like, I would never bring attention to myself if I looked like you. Like, I know I shouldn't be judging a book by its cover, but when you insert yourself into a public forum, you've got to at least like have a fake profile picture. But the fact that you have a profile picture that shows who you are and who your girlfriend is, and that's the thing, I didn't want to involve the girlfriend because she did nothing wrong. She just looks like shit. She might not be as old as she looks, but like that's not her problem. And and I know right now you guys are probably thinking this guy is black, but he was a white guy. You heard stolen bike, you're like, black guy. No, he was a white guy. He was a fucking white guy, and he legitimately looked like he was just like the neighborhood bike thief. It's like I couldn't even fathom inserting myself into I don't insert myself into public conversations now, because I mean people are just so fucking nuts. But I don't have the time. But like, if I look like that, I would be like, I would want as little people as possible to see what I look like and what my girlfriend looks like. Unfucking believable. I just wouldn't do it. I couldn't. It's just like, oh my gosh. And then speaking of black people, so I think it was on like Kill Tony or something that they were making a joke that black people don't change their smoke alarms. And then I remembered, like, because I lived with black people for a while, and I remember that like the smoke alarms would beep from the other side of the house. Like mine would be fine all the time, because anytime my shit would go out, I would replace it. But I remembered hearing it from the other side of the house where my black roommates lived. And so I was taking this speech course, and there's been multiple different black people that have had their smoke alarm beeping in the background. And I'm like, dude, this is actually a this is a thing. It's a phenomenon. So I'm pretty sure they were talking. It's like a running joke on Kill Tony, but like, I legit, at least 3 or 4 different black people in my class would come on, because it's a Zoom thing. So you've got to like come on, and you would just hear beep in the background. I'm like, do they not hear it? And it would just go off the entire time they were talking. And that happened a few times. I'm like, so this is like a legitimate thing. So I don't know if you're black and you're listening to this. I mean, I know what my black friends would say. They'd probably tell me to fuck off. But yeah, if you're black and you listen to this and you can hear the frequency of the smoke alarm, let me know. Let me know what that is. Why some people can hear it and they can't. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I think I've got. Oh yeah, so my daughter. Is just like a couple of random things. My daughter said. So this is like a direct quote from her. She said she's going to open a store. That's what she started with. She said, I'm going to open a store. And she says, so she said, she's going to open a store that says you can do anything you want with help, and you can do hard things as long as you have a helmet. So I thought that was pretty cute. You can do hard things as long as you have a helmet. Life's tough. Get a helmet, dog. And then the last thing that I'll talk about, because I think I don't. Oh wait, no, I have a couple more things. One of the things was like, why do we still accept the fact that we get like 1 million spam calls a day? We used to get pissed when we would get like fucking telemarketers and shit. There's like a do not call list, but now I get like a fucking assload of spam calls a day, and all of them are like about my personal loan that I took out. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't take out a personal loan. It's all spam, phishing, whatever the fuck it's called. But we just like accept it now. It's fucking crazy. There's nothing you can do. You just get 1 million fucking calls. They used to be like, yeah, if you just don't answer them, they eventually go away or like, reduce the amount. I get a fucking shitload of those. And then I get a fucking shitload of texts from specifically the Democrats. It's only the Democrats that send me text messages asking me for money. Like repeatedly. And I'm not registered as a Democrat. I'm registered as independent. I've shown no interest in anything the Democratic Party has had to offer recently. And I still get 1 million fucking texts. I don't understand why we accept this. I don't get why we're a lot, like we pay for fucking service, and then that service includes getting harassed all day by if you pick up the phone for these people, they're just going to take money from you, and they could just call you all fucking day. It's crazy. It is so annoying. So fucking annoying. And then this fucking guy, he messaged me and asked if he could do 100 on a bike, that bike I had posted, because I dropped it down to like 200. And then he's like, actually, can you do 50? I'm like, no. I already said 100 less than I'm asking. I'm not doing another 50 off, so no. So I got to respond to that guy and go, no. And then I was driving by some town, and they had at their fire station, they had a sign outside. It was like drug take back day. And I was like, oh, that would be like an opportunity for like, resellers who want to sell shady drugs, or drug dealers. You just wait outside of the fucking fire station and just offer people money for the drugs that they're taking back. Like, hey, I know you're going to give this to the fire station, but I'll give you fucking half of what it's worth. You know what I mean? And just sit there and you could clean up, then resell it to other drug dealers at a fraction of the price. You'd be fucking making so much money. I don't condone doing that, and I would never do it. But I just saw that, and I was like, that's got to be an opportunity to do something. I'd never seen that before in my life. Drug take back day. They're just going to take your drugs from you? Yeah, okay. Okay. So I thought that was funny. And then the last thing I was going to talk about just real quick before I do the outro here is I saw somebody post the other day, because it's like Halloween. So they posted a picture of their kid like wearing Harry Potter shit. And they were like, they had to put like the caveat that like, we bought this secondhand. This is kind of related to reselling, because I bought it secondhand. Bought this secondhand because we don't support the author of the beloved children's stories anymore. It's like, if you don't support her, then stop fucking wearing her shit. Like, you're still wearing the shit. You're still being like, yeah, this shit rocks. Go ahead. Like, your kid's not gonna fucking, like, 10 years from now, your kid's not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna buy Harry Potter stuff, because like they're still gonna fucking buy it. And there's that new show coming on where it's like all fucking different races and shit swapped or whatever. I don't fucking know. I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, but they're only gonna get more into it. Like, so it's just fucking crazy when people put like little caveats to like, it's like nothing can be like without guilt. Like, just fucking post your shit and move on. Nobody gives a shit either way. Nobody cares about your kid. And like, my wife posts pictures of the kids all the time. I hate it. I'm sure other people are like, I don't give a fuck about these people. But some people do, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand it. I guess I never will. Don't forget, show tonight, 8:30 p.m. on Whatnot. Flips and Giggles. We got vintage T-shirts, cheap starts. If there's not a ton of people, you might get a deal. So get in there before it gets packed. We do have a bunch of bookmarks on that one. Make sure you follow the podcast and make sure you hit that alert button so you know when every new episode drops. Follow me on Instagram, Perry Flips with a Z. Perry Pothead Picker on X. And then I always forget this one too. If you're looking for some music to listen to while you're doing some work or whatever, Choice Nugs Only is the playlist, and it's on Spotify. And I should be the only one on there. There should be a picture of me with some sunglasses on. It's a pretty cool logo. I got it a few years ago, and I've repurposed it for that playlist. So if you are looking for music to just jam out to, it's got a bunch of different things on there. So check that out on Spotify. And yeah, thanks for another week. And hope to see you tonight at the Whatnot. And if not, have a good Halloween. And hope you get a bunch of fucking candy and have some fun shit happen. All right. Bye.